All right, let's talk about 2023 and my goals for the year. Good morning and welcome to In the Car with Clint. Happy New Year to those of you that haven't spoken to so far this year. Obviously, I've been on leave and have just come back, so there would have been a bit of a gap in the content there. Algorithmically, not ideal, but it is life, and I'll move on. So, 2023, a lot of people have got, not a lot of people, maybe 3 people, have said to me, hey, what's the go this year? What are the plans? You're going to buy some new businesses? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I think that obviously comes from the fact that I have had pretty active years for the past 10 years. It's no secret that my goal is to get our group of companies to $100 million of annual turnover. And in the last weeks of last year, I spent a bit of time planning. I don't know if I talked about that on video, but at the end of the year, I don't generally take that time off, and it's nice. I actually would have probably almost preferred to work, say, the first week of January and then maybe taking the last 3 weeks of January off. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I did some mapping, and at the moment, for us to get the company to $100 million of annual turnover in 10 years or less, I need to achieve a growth of about 22% per annum to get there by the time I'm 50, which would be a nice thing to achieve. And so first and foremost, the goal this year is to grow 22% on last year. Now, that's that in itself, growing 20% when you're trying to go from 100 to 120 is vastly different from trying to grow from 15 to $18 million, because sometimes it depends on the market you're in, and it depends what the market's doing, and it depends on the global I guess what happens globally from a recession or depression standpoint. But the only way for us to really to move another 3 mil, there's a few ways we can do it. 1, we can sell more stuff to existing customers. 2, we can sell stuff at a higher price to existing customers. 3, we can acquire new customers and sell stuff to those customers. And obviously 4, we could acquire a business that's turning over $3 million, and we've done it, kind of thing. Now, I'm not 100% sure on which path I will take to do the extra $3 million this year. I think we'll probably end up finding that it's a combination of things. Some people might find it hard to kind of believe, but I don't have a very clear map of how this is all going to work. I have a general idea of where I want to go, and then I just say yes to opportunities as they arise. And what's happened in the past is those opportunities have sometimes not had a correct or quality amount of due diligence done. So I maybe have bought a business or started a business or moved into market segments that felt like the right thing to do at the right time, but they weren't. And so now I've had some learnings from, I've been through an acquisition. We've opened up businesses and closed businesses or market segments, and I feel like I've got a better understanding of, what are the boxes that need to be ticked for us to proceed down a strategic acquisition or similar. Now, I think the next, 12 to 18 months, there's a good chance that there's a few things that are happening in my market. 1, there's an aging population of irrigation store owners that do not have succession plans, and are going to be looking to sell their businesses. Now, irrigation businesses in general don't have the strongest policies and procedures and systems in place for someone that's not an irrigation person to step in and just take over. So there's going to be a good opportunity for us to buy some businesses under market probably in the next 5 years, so from kind of now for the next 5 years. But 2, I think that there's probably going to be some bankruptcies and some global impact on the world that's going to affect our industry. Might make some of those guys look to sell earlier, or maybe some of the people that are just tired, that decide that they don't want to do it anymore, and they might just want to go get a job. They might not be at retirement age, but they might want to get out. And so the next 0 to 5 years for me is going to be very much about being ready to acquire these businesses at the right time and having everything in place to do so. So where I'm going with all of this, the goal hasn't changed, and what exactly might happen this year isn't completely clear. And you know, there's always a rumor that I'm going to buy X or buy Y or buy Z, and sometimes those rumors I start because I find it entertaining, but a lot of other times it's generally because people just, you know, everyone kind of has an opinion about what I'm doing. But here's what I can tell you: I may or may not buy another business this year. It may or may not be in South Australia. We're looking at moving into other states. The states that are of interest to me at the moment are Victoria and Queensland, because of the proximity to us and the weather in Queensland. I'm likely to fly to Melbourne in the next month or two to go look at some shops. You know, none of these, no one's actively selling, but the idea behind achieving goals for me is to first put them out to the universe, which is what I'm doing. Second, to take regular action, which is what I'm going to be doing. And third, to kind of, I guess, taking the regular action creates habits. So, you know, for health and fitness, you know, you might have a regular PT, or you might have a certain food that you choose to eat each time that gets it later. For me, the regular action for growing the business is spending time talking to people about growing the business. So I might fly to Melbourne and meet with some reps or some you know, people in the industry that might know some people, and just start asking questions. And by having that regular you know, flying in and flying out of Victoria, eventually something's going to come up, and then we're going to be able to make a decision around whether or not we want to make a move on that or not. So that'll give you a bit of an idea of the business goals. Oddly enough, I've got some kind of unique personal goals that we're going to be that I'm going to work to this year. One, the Australian Institute of Company Directors course that I did last year. I didn't graduate, which won't surprise anyone that knows me. I've already paid for one extension and done nothing with it. I've got one more opportunity to pay for one more extension and do it, otherwise I have to sit the course, which is like $7,000 and 5 days of my life. So I'm going to do that assignment and graduate from the Australian Institute of Companies Directors course. I don't even know why it matters, but it seems to matter to some people. 2, I'm going to start learning to fly get my private pilot's license. I don't think that I'll have enough time to achieve that this year. I think that's going to probably be a 24-month thing with the amount of other things that I need to do in the amount of time. The reason why I'm doing that, there's 2 reasons. 1, I think it would be really cool to be able to just fly wherever you want. But 2, it scares the shit out of me. And I had a lesson last year, November, maybe October, and I was like sick with how much it scared me. And I want to start doing more things that scare the shit out of me. So that's one of them. Another personal goal this year is to become a marriage celebrant. So a friend of mine, or friends of mine, are getting married, and they've asked me if I would like to be their celebrant. Now, it's very easy to say yes, and a friends of mine have actually asked me to do it before, and it was just like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. From a time standpoint, it's not as easy as just driving down to the government offices and just becoming a celebrant. You actually have to do a course. So that's going to happen this year. I've got some stuff at home that I want to get done. Backyard. We bought our neighbour's backyard. I want to build a gym and stuff. It all ties together, right? So building a gym at home is going to save me some time. It's going to mean that I don't need to go to other gyms. It means I don't need to have a personal trainer unless I have one come to the house. It means that we can train more frequently, both Celeste and I, but it also is going to help us, I guess, impress on our children the importance of health and fitness, something that Celeste and I probably don't take as seriously as we should. And we're going to build a basketball court for the kids so that, you know, they can play and have more stuff. So all of this ties together to getting to the goal. So the reason why that is important to me is because of energy management. This year, probably it'll be a more different year than I've had before. for probably 3 or 4 years, I've said to my management team, I'm not coming in to save you anymore. I'm not coming in to save you anymore. You know, if this happens, this is going to happen. I can't work in the shops. I'm not going to do purchasing. I can't do deliveries. I'm not taking that customer to do this and that. And it's always resulted in a month in, they're like, can you work at this shop? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So then I'm working in a shop. Now, for us to, you know, get to where we need to go, I can't be working in the shops. I enjoy it, and that's probably why I've said yes in the past. So for me to achieve the goals this year, I need to manage my time really well, and I need to manage my energy levels really well. And the energy levels are going to come from, you know, the correct consumption and the correct activities. So training more regularly, doing weights training 3 days a week at the moment, probably increasing that to 5, and then incorporating some kind of casual cardio, spending more time walking and maybe stand-up paddleboarding. That's something that I've just bought, a paddleboard. But also, and then so from a time management, using my calendar really, really aggressively. So I'm already looking at stuff in October this year, and you know, planning December and January next year. I think that a lot of people talk about, you know, 10-year goals, but no one's actually kind of like starting to plan what their activities in those things are. And my belief is that if you want to achieve those big goals, that you need to have habits and behaviors that are in line with those goals. Otherwise you're not going to get there. And the only way to do that for me is to manage it in a calendar. So I've got 3 PTs a week. They're in the calendar. I don't have my food in the calendar. So this is something that I'm thinking about now, is like, all right, well, these are the things I'm going to eat, and this is the kind of behavior that someone that is trying to have more energy would eat. Let's put it in a calendar and then say, at this time you eat this food, and then it's just in there. And then I can really rely on my calendar to make sure I know where I'm meant to be, what I'm meant to be doing, and what I'm meant to be eating, that kind of thing. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the goals for this year. They're very high level, and obviously there's about 1,000 things that fall underneath them that have to occur for us to do that. The idea for me is to have that big goal at the top and then kind of work down and then delegate out to who needs to do the jobs, and then it all just kind of works. Funny, isn't it? I think it's because I'm lucky. That's what they say, you're lucky. Anyway, that is it for In the Car with Clint today. If you've tuned in for this long, congratulations. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be kind to each other. Most importantly, be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.